Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. I'm Kirti Sophia Panachan, and in today's session we'll be learning about translation of poetry. As far as the field of literary translation is concerned, more effort has been taken and more time spent in the study of problems related to the translation of poetry than any other literary mode. We can justify this because we observe that as language becomes more poetic, indeterminacy increases. Indeterminacy means unaccountable or a state of not being measured or counted, or we don't clearly know. That is the meaning. It becomes more difficult to know the pulse of poetry than the other modes of literature because it remains hidden under the poetic language. A good degree of indeterminacy obtains in the translation of even ordinary discourse, and it increases rapidly as the text becomes poetic or literary. Poetry abounds in figures of speech such as simile, metaphor, irony, paradox, etc., and phonological, syntactic, and semantic patterns such as rhyming, alliteration, etc., and syntagmatic and paradigmatic relationship between words. So we all know that poetry is extremely complicated, and in poems we could see all the above mentioned, or at least a few of the mentioned type of what you call figures of speech or semantic patterns to enhance the beauty of the poem. Each period of history looks at a poem from a different perspective, and if this is lost upon the translator, his version is likely to be far removed from the intentions of the source language author. We also know that source language author could be shortened as SL author. Although the untranslatability of poems has been much discussed, we notice that translations of poems are being done in every corner of the world, and the case is not different in our country also. We could see that a number of writers are translating works written by eminent writers around the world, and uh, that is one of the reasons why we are able to explore the literature of the world. Before approaching the topic of poetry translation, it is worth mentioning some comments on the same. Robert Frost, we know he is an American poet, once commented, "Poetry is that which is lost in translation." To this comment, Dr. Ayyappa Panikar, he is an eminent Malayalam writer, responded to this comment based on his experience of having translated more than 200 poems is like this: "Poetry is what is not lost even in translation. If something is lost, much is retained and much more may be gained in translation. The translatability of a poem to a very large extent is decided by the nature of the poem. Poems in which rhyme and rhythm are the most important aspect and the context is secondary are very difficult to be translated, and also there is no point in translating such poems." So, this is a nursery rhyme that we all have learned when we were kids. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. We can see that this cannot be translated into other languages because its purpose is to delight small children and instill in them a sense of rhythmic beauty. This is best done by making use of rhymes in their own mother tongue, and any language contains many such rhymes. Now, this is another nursery rhyme that we have all learned when we were kids. കാക്കേ കാക്കേ കൂടെവിടെ കൂട്ടിനകത്തൊരു കുഞ്ഞുണ്ടോ കുഞ്ഞിന് തീറ്റ കൊടുക്കാഞ്ഞാൽ കുഞ്ഞു കിടന്ന് കരയൂലേ കുഞ്ഞെ കുഞ്ഞെ നീ തരുമോ നിന്നുടെ കയ്യിലെ നെയ്യപ്പം ഇല്ല തരില്ല നെയ്യപ്പം അയ്യോ കാക്കേ പറ്റിച്ചേ. This Malayalam rhyme sounds very beautiful in its rhythmic pattern and imaginative quality. This is a poem to be sung aloud and enjoyed, but when it is rewritten in another language, the whole effort will be lost. So I guess that's all for today. I hope today's session was fruitful for you all. If you like this video, do give it a big thumbs up and do share it with your friends who love to learn. Once again, thank you so much. Bye-bye.